Thank you. Good afternoon. Hello. Everyone's so quiet this afternoon. Pastor Carla is back east with her family, enjoying the wedding of their daughter, her daughter, and so we want to wish them a wonderful weekend of family greatness together and of their nuptials with her daughter. And I'm sure we'll be able to meet the son-in-law sometime. But for now, that's where they are right now, so we want to wish them a good time there. And let's begin with a word of prayer. Lord, we're so happy and so thankful that each member is here today to help celebrate what these wonderful quilters have done and are doing to help meet so many needs across the country and across the world. Around the world, Lord, we am so staggered with their work and their efforts, and that's why we're here today to say thank you and to just shine a little bit of light on what they do. May we be ever thankful for everything else you've given for our new building program, Lord. It's such amazing to see what we can do for our church here. May this be a concert to thank you and to celebrate what they do in your name, Lord. Amen. A few housekeeping things. In your program, we have a benefactor envelope. If you'd like to become a benefactor, there are some levels that you can give, and that's what helps sustain us throughout the year. We've had 2 great seasons. I can't believe we're in a 3rd one already. You guys have given so much, and I'm so grateful that we could do that. And you've given so much out of your own pocket and your time and your effort that it makes it such a wonderful season to plan. And this season, I tried to plan us a whole series of thanking the church and also showing some light on different programs that we don't always see every day. But so I wanted to start with the quilters because I know we see the quilts around and we magically think they appear out of nowhere, but these women do amazing work. And as you can see here, I tried to put some up here for us to look at. And they're also for purchase as well. So if today you'd like to get one, they'll be on sale today and tomorrow morning, correct, ladies? So if you'd like to pick one up today or tomorrow morning, they'll be for sale. But don't wait because they're going to go quick. I already got mine. So so if that's for the benefactor. So anything else today that we're going to be given during the offertory will go directly toward Lutheran World Relief. So if you want to donate toward that, anything that we give today will be going directly to Lutheran World Relief to say thank you. It's amazing. It was about 50 years, I think, Karen, we were talking about this. They've been more than 50 years. They've been working here at church, sending out approximately 100 quilts per year. Sometimes more when they had more people working here. They had up to 9 people before, right? Almost. 9 quilters a week pumping out these great quilts. So I estimated probably around 5,000 altogether in the past 50 years. And that's amazing. We're going to see a video about that. And when Lutheran World Relief found out that we were doing this today, they pointed out that 2 of the quilts that are in the video, they can track that were sent from us. So maybe we can find out, if we look ahead, we can find out maybe which ones did that. But there's a couple in there because they keep good records from where things come from. But the Lutheran World Relief and the Quilters have been joined together and doing so much amazing work it's such an unthankful trait that is amazing. When we give something, we kind of sometimes always want a thank you, huh? I give you a gift, hopefully give me a thank you. Well, when they send these quilts out, they give them without, it's a selfless gift because they don't know where they're going to go. They don't know who's going to get them. They don't know where they're going to end up or what they'll be used for. They just give of their own heart, which I think is such an amazing, selfless gift. So I want to thank them for doing that. Just give them a round of applause. Thank you. So today, we're just going to sing a little bit. And I have a little project for you at the end where I'm going to need a couple of volunteers. But it's all for fun. We're going to be building a little coat of our own when we sing Joseph's Coat. But that'll be at the very end. But today, I asked Angie to come up and sing with me today. And all these songs have something to do with sewing or connecting with your family through some art. And I think you're going to recognize something in each of them. So Angie, you want to come up and help me do this? Angie was here in the choir for many years. and she's sung with me for the past 3 years on different concerts, and she's become my partner in arms, I guess.
I mean, why not?
Whatever you want to call her, she's been amazing. So hopefully you'll enjoy these as we start today. And Marcia is going to be doing some narration for us for some of these songs. So take it away, Marcia.
I'm so glad to be here and honoring the Quilters today. So I'm going to introduce the first song is called I Will Be Here. On a sunny Saturday morning, a group of women gather in a small room, sipping coffee, sifting through fabric pieces and sharing stories about who has the best chocolate chip cookie recipe. A second later, the Singer sewing machines begin to hum. The quilters put down their coffee and they begin to sew, and the journey of a new quilt begins with love. Love, hope, joy, and peace. These terms are often connected with the Christmas and holiday season, but I believe we can look at these attributes as different legs of a journey for each quilt. A journey that connects St. Mark's to the Lutheran World Relief, and finally, the need. Now, the pieces of fabric they choose could be considered by some as scraps and eventually just tossed out. But these quilters work on the principle of what can be, not what's expected. Now, we don't always know where the quilts will go, says Karen Wilkins, a quilter with 40 years experience. Thank you, Karen. Now, since their beginning in the 50s, to date, they've sent over 8,000 quilts across the globe. Just in fact, last year, some of these quilts were sent across the country to Baltimore, Maryland, for a crew on a cargo ship that had been stranded in the harbor there after a bridge collapsed. The ship and its crew were 3,000 miles from home, and these quilts provided warmth and comfort to the crew who didn't know when they would get home or even see their families and loved ones again. Now, some might say, why put so much time and effort into something and not know where it's going? Now, we know the journey of the quilt began with love, and now the second leg of the journey continues with hope, as they pray on each finished quilt before being sent. They pray that God will connect the quilt to the need, no matter where in the world it is. The journey continues as it provides joy to those receiving it, and finally it offers peace as it comforts those hurting or in distress. When we find ourselves confused, hurting, or in pain, we just need to know someone is listening and that we're not forgotten. We have to remember that just because someone may slip and fall on the path, it doesn't mean they've lost their way. The simple gifts always mean the most because they come from the heart, and what has been made here is more precious than gold. And to those who receive one, it's priceless. How much is that worth to you?
Beautiful. Tomorrow morning, if you wake up and the sun does not appear, I will be here. If in the dark we lose sight of love, hold my hand and have no fear, 'cause I will be here. I will be here when you feel like being quiet, when you need to speak your mind. I will listen. I will be here when the laughter turns to crying. Through the winning and losing and trying, we'll be together, 'cause I will be here. Tomorrow morning, if you wake up and the future seems unclear, I will be here. As sure as seasons are made for change, our lifetimes are made for years. So I will be here. I will be here. You can cry on my shoulder. When the mirror tells us we're older, I will hold you. I will be here to watch you grow in beauty and tell you all the things you are to me. I will be here. I will be true to the promise I have made, to you and to the one who gave you to me. I will be here. And just as sure as seasons are made for change, our lifetimes are made for years. So I will be here, we'll be together. I will be here.
The next song is called Thank You. Have you ever had someone who made an incredible impact on your life and wished there would be an opportunity where you were able to express a moment of gratitude for what they did? To tell them the actions, as simple as they might have been, opened new doors. The loving words said and the kindness shown placed you on a path that in your heart was the one closest to God. As churches try to define their mission, they ask, what is the most important ministry the church can be involved in that will support its congregation as well as sharing the love and actions Jesus taught us to live by? Some may say maybe it's the monthly food bank. There, we're feeding not just the physical need, but also the mental and emotional. What a better ministry. Or is it the border visits we make to share God's love with the refugees? That is a climate where God's love can heal with patience and tolerance. How about these wonderful musical concerts? They bring joy to our congregation, open the doors to the community, and enrich our souls. According to the writer of this next song, he believes it's the Sunday school. Jesus seemed the most happy when he had children sitting beside him as he shared the simple gift of love. Sunday school is where we learn everything from Adam and Eve to the miracle of Easter. Where else could you sing with puppets, have cookies and punch, and ask questions that were sometimes answered with, let's talk to the pastor about that. For some, it's the Sunday school teacher, for some, a missionary, and for some, just a friend sharing a kind word. For whoever they are, we say thank you.
And if you'd like to sing with me on the chorus, the words are in your program for the chorus. So. I dreamed I went to heaven, and you were there with me. We walked upon the streets of gold, beside the crystal sea. We heard the angels singing, and someone called your name. You turned and saw a young man, and he was smiling as he came. And he said, friend, you may not know me now, but then he said, but wait, you used to teach my Sunday school when I was only 8. And every week you'd say a prayer before the class would start. And One day I asked Jesus in my heart, thank you for giving to the Lord. I am a life that was changed. Thank you for giving to the Lord. I am so glad you gave. Then another man stood before you, and he said, remember the time a missionary came to your church? His pictures made you cry. You didn't have much money, but you gave it anyway. Jesus took the gift you gave, and that's why I'm here today. Thank you for giving to the Lord. I am a life that was changed. Thank you for giving to the Lord. I am so glad you gave. One by one they came, far as the eye could see. Each life somehow touched by your generosity. Little things that you had done, sacrifices made, unnoticed here on earth, but in heaven now proclaimed. And I know in heaven you're not supposed to cry, but I'm almost sure there are tears in your eye as Jesus took your hand and stood before the Lord. He said, my child, look around you, for great is your reward. Thank you for giving to the Lord. I am a life that was changed. Thank you for giving to the Lord. I am so glad you gave. Thank you for giving to the Lord. I am a life that was changed. Thank you for giving to the Lord. I am so glad you gave. I am so glad you gave.
Song.
There you go.
There it is.
Start over.
The next song is called This Day. It is said that our emotions are not positive or negative. It is how we respond to them that dictates which side of the scale will dip. Now, of all the emotions, regret can be one of the most exhaustive and pointless. This is only true if we allow it to consume our heart and soul. Regret can also serve as a catalyst for change, a change in behavior, a change in attitude, a change in priorities and perspective. For it is only when we are standing at a great precipice do we find we are capable of great change. There are many times in our lives where we might feel we're not good enough or deserve to succeed. It's then by trusting in God's love that we are good enough and can share how we feel with others struggling in the shadows. We are enough because of His Son and sacrifice. He will always be beside us in every situation, no matter what we do or how far we stray. And when we feel the most depressed and alone, He will meet us where we are. So may we live without regret and only follow the paths of redemption through God and His unconditional love.
This day is fragile, soon it will end. And once it has vanished, it will not come again. So let us love with a love pure and strong before this day is gone. This day is fleeting when it slips away. Not all our money can buy back this day. So let us pray that we might be a friend before this day is spent. This day we're given is golden. Let us show love. This day is ours for one moment. Let us sow love. This day is frail, it will pass by. So before it's too late to recapture the time, let us share love, let us share God before this day is gone. Before this day is gone. It's duet time.
Those of you who know me know that I love to find songs that are very rare, but also I love digging through music books. And a few years ago, was reading about, during the writing of Fiddler on the Roof, Harnick and Bach, the guys who wrote the show, had written a beautiful duet, but the song got cut because of time. They were in tech rehearsals in Albany, New York, and they were running up 2 hours, 59 minutes, which meant anything at 3 hours started time and a half for the unions. The carpenters, the costumers, and actors, anybody in the pit, they had to start paying them time and a half. So that wasn't going to work. So they all got together right before they opened and said, we got to cut something. Something's got to go. So this duet was cut.
Too bad.
Too bad, because it's gorgeous. And after I read that, I got aggravated because songs that always cut are always the most beautiful for some reason. So I started digging. I went through all sorts of books. I went to LA and went through the Bach library up there and tried to find where it was, and I couldn't find it anywhere. But finally, I found a solo recording of Bach singing horribly into a cassette. And he had written a couple notes about it. And when I heard it, I thought, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. It's all about this young couple who were just married. They were living with their parents still, and they were trying to get their life going. And the sewing machine was the epitome of what they had. It was the center of the house, and anyone who could sew was the queen of the house. And so they had the sewing machine they were given as a gift, and they held onto it very tightly, knowing that it could, in the future, become something great for their home. And then when this idea came up about doing the Quilters, but the thing was there was no music for it. So you know me. I listened to that cassette over and over and over and over and over, and I transcribed it down on paper, and I think we come up with a pretty good version of it. It's never been sung here in California, so this is the debut of this song. So I hope you enjoy it. It's called Dear Sweet Sewing Machine from Fiddler on the Roof.
Dear sweet sewing machine, whoops, live performances. Can we start over?
That's okay.
The thrill of live
I'll give you
performing.
the
We mess up. Dear sweet sewing machine, I will promise to love, honor, and keep you polished and clean, oil, grease.
all you can eat if you will turn my satin and silk into sugar and salt.
Butter and milk and
maybe a toy.
a baby should have a toy. You have suffered neglect, unloved, maybe before.
Not anymore, we need you if we're to make both
ends meet. Do you know what you are, dear sweet sewing machine? You'll come to mean our own samovar, pots,
pans,
blankets and sheets,
cabbage and beets,
corn,
raisins and dates,
plums,
pitchers and plates,
tables and chairs,
and farther away,
a room of our own someday. What if you're secondhand, scratched, worn? You're still the best we've ever seen. So welcome, sewing machine, to our home. You have suffered neglect, unloved, maybe before.
Not anymore, we need you if we're to make
Both ends meet. Do you know what you are, dear sweet sewing machine? You'll come to mean our own samovar, pots,
pans,
blankets and sheets,
cabbage and beets,
corn,
raisins and dates,
plums,
pears, pitchers and plates,
tables and chairs,
and farther away,
a room of our own someday. What if you're secondhand, scratched, worn? You're still the best we've ever seen. So welcome, sewing machine, into our home. Isn't that a cute little song? I just love that. Who knew there was a song about a
I know,
sewing
right?
machine?
With beets and cabbage and pears and everything else. Lutheran World Relief sent me a video that I'd like to show you guys of the quilting they've done, or the quilts they sent that have been given out in Somalia. So I think we're going to have that for us as we watch that and then take an offering. So if you want to make sure your checks are ready to go, we'll watch that video. Oh, there she is. This is Mary Terwalski, who's in charge of their giving when they're out of the country. So this is what she sent me. And also she wanted to extend her gratitude to the ladies for all their work as well. So, okay.
Greetings, quilters and kit makers. I'm Lisa Kipp from Lutheran World Relief, and I am in the southwestern part of Tanzania right now, which is in East Central Africa, and we are just about to have a quilt and kit distribution for all of these mamas and babies. Come and take a look.
Just a quick word about, just a little video about what they do. It was a little hard to hear, but you can see the joy on their faces when they actually get a hold of it. And you know that it's a very special gift to them, and it means more than they can imagine, and more we can imagine too, what we're giving out. So anything that we can do to support these ladies and what they have done. And also Roz, when she does her quilts for our community and gives her quilts out to those who are in our congregation who need help, that to me is just as important as well. So I'll get to that at the end, thanking Roz for that too. But all these women who give so much of their time and effort, I want to thank you. So we'll get to those thanks at the end though. Get some more. So I think we're ready for some more. Yeah, okay. We did this song this past weekend for the 70th anniversary. But it's pretty appropriate.
It's pretty appropriate. Yes, it is.
From a distance.
From a distance, the world looks blue and green, and the snow-capped mountains white. From a distance, the ocean meets the stream, and the eagle takes to flight. From a distance, there is harmony, and it echoes through the land. It's the voice of hope, it's the voice of peace, it's the voice of every man. From a distance, we all have enough, and no one is in need. And there are no guns, no bombs, and no disease, no hungry mouths to feed. From a distance, we are instruments marching in a common band, playing songs of hope, playing songs of peace. They're the songs of every man. God is watching us. God is watching us. God is watching us from a distance. From a distance, you look like my friend, even though we are at war. From a distance, I just cannot comprehend what all this fighting is for. From a distance, there is harmony, and it echoes through the land. It's the hope of hopes. It's the love of loves. It's the heart of every man. It's the hope of hopes. It's the love of loves. This is the song of every man. And God is watching us. God is watching us. God is watching us from a distance. Oh, God is watching us. God is watching. God is watching us from a distance.
The next song is called Colors of the Wind. We all know what kids love most about Christmas morning, right? It's opening presents. Now, if you ask any parent what they enjoy most about Christmas morning, most all would say watching the children opening their presents. Now, it's fairly easy to shop for kids because of the list. Now, this list is so important that we encourage our kids to send their list to Santa. This became such an event that back in 1907, the post office actually set up a real address where you could send your letter. And even today, there is an online program where you can read one of these letters and become a real elf and help Santa by sending a response and a gift. Now, as adults, we will travel everywhere in search of that perfect gift and do it without a list. But think about it. How much easier would it be if we got lists with exactly what the special people in our lives wished for? I think some of us as adults have updated the customary list by cultivating the hinting skill, some more developed than others. My dad told me my mom had the finest hinting skills on the East Coast. Mom told me after 6 years of the same flannel robe and slippers, she had to go on the offensive if she was ever going to get those diamond earrings. Changing being hopeful for a great gift to hinting to the right gift. She placed pictures of the earrings in his briefcase, taped pictures on his bathroom mirror, going as far as taping pictures to her ears. She got her earrings and a roll of Scotch tape. Well, list or no list, hinting or hoping, I think it's truly better to give than receive, no matter if it's a birthday, Christmas, or simply to say thank you.
My mom actually did that. That was what my mom would do.
You think you own whatever land you land on. The earth is just a dead thing you can claim. But I know every rock and tree and creature has a life, has a spirit, has a name. You think the only people who are people are the people who look and think like you. But if you walk the footsteps of a stranger, you'll learn some things you never knew, you never knew. Have you ever heard the wolf cry to the blue corn moon? Or asked the grinning bobcat why he grinned? Can you sing with all the voices of the mountains? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? Come run the hidden pine trails of the forest. Come taste the sun-sweet berries of the earth. Come roll in all the riches all around you. And for once, never wonder what they're worth. The rainstorm and the river are my brothers. The heron and the otter are my friends. And we are all connected to each other in a circle, in a hoop that never ends. How high does the sycamore grow? If you cut it down, then you'll never know. And you'll never hear the wolf cry to the blue corn moon. For whether we are white or copper skinned, we need to sing with all the voices of the mountains, need to paint with all the colors of the wind. You can own the earth and still all you own is earth until you can paint with all the colors of the wind.
I love that one.
Okay, so now is the time when I'm going to tell a little story.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet, I don't have.
If you look in the back of your program on the last page, there are some colors that I would like us to read through together, because that's going to come in handy in about 2 minutes. If they look familiar, they're the 29 colors that are talked about in Joseph's coat in the show, Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dream Coat. And if you can read those with me, it goes red, yellow, green, brown, scarlet, black, ochre, peach, ruby, olive, violet, fawn, lilac, gold, chocolate, mauve, cream, crimson, silver, rose, azure, lemon, russet, gray, purple, white, pink, orange, and blue. Now, I did Joseph for 2 years of my life, 600 performances of it, and the show never was the same because of this coat. People always say to me, how do you keep a show fresh after 600 times doing it? Don't you get bored? Well, you could, I guess, but this show had so many quirky little moments that could go wrong every night and some did. So after 600 stage reports from the stage manager, not one of them ever read the same. They were always different. So that's what keeps things fresh for you as a conductor. But there was more than that. On this tour, we had Patrick Cassidy as our Joseph. Now, he's from the Cassidy family, Sean and David, who had pretty big careers back in the 80s, singing and acting. But there was a third Cassidy, Patrick. Well, he was the third brother of two really famous brothers. And you can just imagine what that entailed. Shirley Jones always said to me, well, he was my third son. Oh, what does that mean? She goes, well, he was my third son. I had Sean and David, and then I had Patrick. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I can't tell. Is she happy about this or not? I can't tell. She goes, I was very happy. Patrick was great. He felt that he had as much opportunity as the other two, but he was an amazing boy, and Shirley was, I've met her 4 times, and always very gracious about herself and her family, and sharing her life, and that was always amazing to hear from her. But on tour, we had Patrick as Joseph. We also had American Idol's Amy Adams from season 1 as our narrator. So here we have a Joseph star, pseudo-star, and we have Amy Adams from American Idol. Now, Amy was knocked off, I think, 2nd or 3rd week in, but she had a beautiful voice, big voice. But she had never sung a theater show before, so she burned her voice out in the 3rd month of tour because she wasn't used to singing that much. So she would go off tour for about 2 months, come on for a month, go off for 2 months, come on for a month. But naturally, that was a problem. But anyway, what I'm getting down to is when Patrick, we were in rehearsals in New York City, and Patrick was boasting to all the press that was there how this show was going to be bigger than any other Joseph beforehand. Well, if anyone knows anything about Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, the star of that show had always been what? Donny Osmond. And he was kind of like considered the great one. Well, Patrick said about him, oh, he's not so great. Well, when we started in rehearsals in New York, Patrick said he wanted the coat to be the biggest coat, the best coat, more ingenious than ever. Well, that could only lead to a few problems to begin with. So when we got the first coat, he didn't like it. They brought him a second coat. He didn't like that one either. 9 coats later, we finally get a coat that works for him. Now, this coat had an undercoat to it that had tubes that would hold ribbons of fabric for all 29 colors. So he had his overcoat, then under that he had a coat of tubes around him that had fabric, so when the dancers would call the color, red and yellow, they would grab the corresponding color and pull it from the tube. 3 issues with that. Only 3 that I could see. First thing was that sometimes the tubes didn't have the right color in it, because if you look through the colors, where there was red and crimson and ruby and scarlet, those are sort of similar in reds, especially when you're backstage in dim lighting, trying to get them in there. And some of the local dressers, who are great, sometimes missed the color. We also had purple, which was purple and lilac and violet and mauve. Those are kind of similar in purple family. So issue was sometimes they pull the wrong ribbon. Well, when that happened, the next dancer had about 4 seconds to choose what she's going to do. Do I pull the wrong ribbon out of the next tube? Or do I not pull anything at all? Do I wait for the colors to come around again? And hopefully I can find it again, because the coat's spinning as they're trying to get the colors out. So he's going, I look handsome, and the coat's going out like this. The tubes are going up, and they're trying to get the ribbons out. Well, with 29 colors, it was a problem, because sometimes the tubes weren't filled with the right color. Sometimes the tubes had already been pulled by somebody, had already pulled the color, so the dancer went to go pull her color, and there was nothing there, so she danced around with nothing in her hands. Sometimes they were put in the wrong tube in the wrong color, and then they were pulled wrong. So there were a lot of issues happening at once, and I find it very funny. That's why I love musical theater, because in a matter of 5 minutes, the show can go from wonderful to, oh my gosh, what's going to happen next, really quickly. And on top of all this, they said, well, why don't you pick up a local children's choir every city? Great, okay, let's add very crazy variable to a bad situation. So every city, we'd have about 20 kids we'd have on stage in front of the stage, and they'd be hanging their feet off the orchestra pit, and inevitably a flip-flop would fall into the tuba. So that was always great. But one night when we were having this, we had a tech rehearsal in Salt Lake City, and we would have it so that knowing that we would invite in people for free, knowing that if there was a problem, we'd stop the show, because we had just started out. It was our third night in Salt Lake City, and his coat, the tubes were misplaced and empty, and there were ribbons flying everywhere that shouldn't be flying everywhere, and dancers there were 29 dancers, and they were all very confused, so I had to stop the show, which is always wonderful to hear. But I had it in my headphones. I said, we got to stop. There's getting too much mess up there. We stopped the show. Everyone's laughing. Of course, we're all laughing. And this one little boy who was sitting right at the edge of stage, and he had his face locked onto me, as he should be, watching me for everything, not looking behind him at the mishegoss that was happening up here, not looking at all the craziness that was ensuing, but he was focused on me like I asked him to, focus on me. And I get done at the end of the first act, and I'm sweating, and I get off the podium and walk into my dressing room. He calls out with a loud stage whisper, Mr. Jason, I think it's going very well, don't you? I said, yes, Ollie, things are going very well. And after that, after the show finished, I went up to his parents and gave them all free tickets to the show. I said, please, for the next, the page show, I said, because your son is amazing. Well, Ollie is amazing. But that show taught me a lot about in real time. How do you solve a problem in real time? Because as a conductor, you were responsible for keeping everything moving on the same exact millisecond. Because the lighting, the sets, everything is moving together based on me keeping the second counter at the same spot every night. So if I'm off by 2 seconds, that means the lighting will be off, the sets will be moving when they shouldn't be moving, and things are craziness. If you ever go to a live show in the future, never look at the stage. Look what's happening up, around, and all over the place, because that's where the real show is happening. Whenever there's a song happening, there's usually backdrops that are coming in and out, and there's things happening all behind you that you don't see, of course. There's things that are happening backstage over here, the stage right and stage left, that are so much fun to see. And there's always problems that are happening that are being solved that you have no idea that they're going on. But that's the beauty of live theater. But with this song here, I want us today, since we're talking about quilting, I thought we'd build our own little coat. So can I have 7 volunteers? 7 people come down and help me out? I need 7. Sherry, thank you. I just need 6 more. You want to grab those little? So I just need 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 people on here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have Laura. Janet, you want to sit here? Okay, great. Sitting, please, thank you. Take a seat, have a seat. These are going to be my coat makers. Oh, hello, Ophelia. Great, there we go. Oh, we have it. One more. We need one more. Oh, Marcia?
Sure.
Okay. And you can have a seat. You can have a seat. Yep. Other side.
One job.
This is the front row.
This is for you. You're holding your lap. Just holding your lap. I'll tell you when to hold it up. Just lay them in your lap. There you go. Okay. That's for you. And then Jean here.
This back. This is great. Look at that.
This is my hot glue of fabric. Karen Wilkins was, I kept coming into her saying, can I hot glue everything? She goes, well, it might not stay together very long. Yeah, so what we're going to do is, as I call out the colors I'm going to show you, you just hold it up and try to make sure that we connect them, sort of. So they make, there we go. And then we call out the back. If you can stand up and pull yours front so that they make connect to this right here. So Jean, when you'll stand up and pull yours front right here, and Sherry right here, and Ophelia right there. Okay, make sense? So I'll show you when to pull them up, so you can put them back in your lap. Okay, so we're going to sing now, okay? And we'll sing, when I point to you, you sing the colors, and there'll be 4 colors per block. So it'll be red and yellow and green and brown and yeah, they're already ready to go. Okay, awesome. Okay, so we're going to start this with a little bit of story first, and then I'll come over and help you guys out. Okay, so we have, and 1, 2. Jacob wanted to show the world he loved his son, make it clear that Joseph was the special one. So Jacob bought his son a coat, a multicolored coat to wear.
Joseph's coat was elegant, the cut was fine, the tasteful style was the ultimate in good design. This is why it caught the eye. A king would stop and stare,
And when Joseph tried it on, he knew his sheepskin days were gone. Such a dazzling coat of many colors.
how he loved his coat of many colors.
It was class above the rest. It even went well with my vest. Such a stunning coat of many colors.
How he loved his coat of many colors.
It was red and yellow and green and brown and blue.
Joseph's brothers weren't too pleased with what they saw.
We had never liked him all that much before, and now this coat has caught our goat. We feel life is unfair.
And when Joseph graced the scene, his brothers turned a shade of green. His astounding clothing took the biscuit, quite the smoothest person in the district.
I look handsome, I look smart, I am a walking work of art. Such a dazzling coat of many colors. How I loved my coat of many colors. It was red and yellow and green and brown and scarlet and black and ochre and peach and ruby and olive and violet. I
Fawn
look
and lilac
handsome,
and gold and chocolate and mauve and cream
walking
and
work
crimson and
of art.
silver and
Such
rose
a
and azure
dazzling
and
coat of
lemon
many
and
colors.
russet and gray,
How I love
purple
my
and
coat
white
of many
and
colors.
pink and
It
orange
was
and
red and yellow and brown
green
and
brown and scarlet and black and ochre and peach and ruby and olive and violet and fawn and lilac and gold and chocolate and mauve and cream and crimson and silver and rose and azure and lemon and russet and gray and purple and white and
Pink and orange and blue. Thanks, guys.
You did it.
You did it. And that was much smoother than any other night on the show. So thank you. You're done. Thank you. All the shows I ever did with Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber, they're always odd. They always had a strange message to him, but the guy was, he wrote this when he was only 16. Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. He was only 16 years old when he wrote it. That's pretty good for a 16-year-old. But that show is 2 years of my life, and I thank him for it. But thank you for helping us out. We have 2 more songs. I think, Marcia, we're ready for the statement. Okay.
Okay, this next song is called A Place Called Home. A good friend shared this story about Christmas, and I know it will remind some of you of the humor the holiday season brings to each of our homes. Trying to get all of us sisters together in one place wasn't easy. My mom begged the 3 of us to attend Christmas Eve candlelight service as a family. Being the good Lutherans that we were, we sat front row. As we got ready to welcome little baby Jesus into the world, my mom looked down the pew at us and said, "Don't embarrass me." We were offended at the thought. Most of the service was without incident. Then they handed out the candles and everything went south. As I held my candle for illumination, I noticed wording on the drip pad. I looked closer and held back a grin until I couldn't hold it back anymore. So I showed it to my oldest sister, who at the time was my partner in crime. She burst out in laugh. My mom's eyes narrowed as she gave us the mom look. By now, we were laughing to the point of tears. Never had Silent Night been so funny. You see, the drip pad had the obvious instructions to hold the candle upright, as if holding it upside down were going to be an assumption without specific instructions. Even funnier, extinguish candle before returning to candle box. I was too wrapped up in my tear-inducing laughter to notice everyone had raised their candles above their heads. Of all the stupid instructions, this wasn't one of them. So I quickly pushed my candle up into the air, littering myself with hot candle wax, right as we got to sleep in heavenly peace. My sisters were still wiping residual laughter from their faces as my mom's look got more stern. My mom said, I asked you girls for just one thing, not to embarrass me. I said, Mom, seriously, who needs to be told to hold a candle upright and to put it out before throwing it in a cardboard box? The next Christmas, as a little joke, I bought small travel-sized fire extinguishers and put them in everyone's Christmas stocking. My mom thought I was just being helpful and safety proactive, but my father belted out, "These are great. We should put these in the pews for when we light those candles on Christmas Eve." I almost caught my sleeve on fire because I lit my candle upside down. Now Mom caught my joke and we all started to laugh hysterically. My father bellowed, "What's so funny? Now go get me some pie." That's Christmas to me. The laughing, the joy, the love, and candles.
There's a place called home I can almost see, with a red front door and a roaring fire and a Christmas tree. It's a place called home, full of love and family. And I'm there at the door, watching you come home to me. Through the years, I'll recall this day in your arms, when I finally found my way to a place called home, and a life with you, where the days are long and the love is strong and the dreams are true. Just a place called home, you and I will always see. In the dark of the night, let your heart come home to me. To the place in my heart where you're always home with me. Through the years, I'll recall this day in your arms, when I finally found my way to a place called home, and a life with you, where the days are long and the love is strong and the dreams are true. Just a place called home that my heart will always see. In the dark of the night, let your heart come home to me. to the place in my heart where you're always home with me. I feel like that's kind of becoming the St. Mark's anthem, Jason.
I know, it's kind of our go-to when I think of us.
It is a go-to. It's so beautiful. I love that.
Before we sing our last number, I want to take a moment to recognize all the ladies who have done so much work here with a certificate that they sent me also from Lutheran World Relief. It says, the certificate is proudly presented on October 5th. St. Mark's Church and Lutheran World Relief is proud to recognize your continued efforts as well as the ability in meeting global health needs. So I'd like to give it out to our ladies that have done stuff. Betty and Karen, yes? Can you help me out here? So we're going to Betty and Karen who are here. They're right here, yeah, sorry, right here. Marilis, is Marilis here? Marilis, is she here? No? How do you pronounce her last name? Kennegizer. I have to get that down right. Kennegizer. Oh, okay, we'll get this to her tomorrow when we see her, hopefully. And is Roz here? Okay. And then Ophelia, are you here? There she is. Can you get this to me? But we'll get you Ophelia. And Janet Quicklow, is that right? Did I pronounce it right? Marcia McCullough, is Marcia here? Marcia, is she here? Marcia McCullough? No, okay, all right. Just give a round of applause again to these ladies who have done so much. I just want to thank them. I have my list here also. Cindy has been a great help to them. Of course, Chris and Jean Lewis, they're here, yes. Chris and Jean, thank you. Dennis Coughlin and Walt are my two guys who do so much work around here that we have to thank them for what they've done. So please, I don't think they're here today, but to Dennis and Walt, thank you very much, guys. Sherry and Dave Barker, thank you for all you do. Thank you for all you do. And then for Tom back there, Tom is my money. He handles all of that for us. And after we have today, Jane Gerber has provided some wonderful refreshments. I can't tell you how much I love her food. I think I've gained 10 pounds just off that stuff. So Jane's provided food. So after this, we can move over there and have that. I want to thank Pastor and Pastor Alicia as well. Fred and Jean, yes. Fred and Jean, thank you so much for what you do. You guys do as well. Am I missing anybody? Did I get everyone on your list there? I got Tom. Yeah. I want to thank you all. Thank you guys for coming today. Thank you for sharing in this afternoon. I know we're small in might, but after last weekend, it's okay. I'm just glad you're all here. So as we sing our last song, we can sing together. We're going to sing Let There Be Peace on Earth. So I encourage you to sing along. The lyrics are printed on the back of the program. So you're welcome to sing as Margaret. Thank you, Margaret, for being here. And Marcia. Margaret and Marcia for doing what you've done today. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, and my sound guys, Nathan, Dave, and Daniel. Let's sing together. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as our Father, brothers all are we. Let me walk with my brother in perfect harmony. Let there begin with me Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow. To take each moment and live each moment with peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Please join us, or if you don't buy a quilt, join us across the way in Jacobson Hall for some refreshments. Thank you for coming. Thank you. Thank you.